our way out of this pandemic is to vaccinate the unvaccinated. That's it. I mean, we can have booster dosing, as is going to be recommended probably on this Thursday and Friday. We can give a third dose to people who've already gotten 2 doses of mRNA vaccines, but that's probably not going to have much of an impact on this pandemic. The impact on this pandemic will only occur when we can convince those roughly 60 or 65 million people who have told you they want to get vaccinated. They want to continue to be fertile ground for the spread of this virus so it can continue to do harm, continue to create mutations that may create variants that are more and more resistant to vaccine-induced immunity. It's unconscionable. There is enough information now about the safety and effectiveness of this vaccine to tell anybody who's looking at these data that vaccines are the way to go. So there are no good reasons not to get a vaccine, just a lot of bad.
I think I'm protected. I didn't get last year's bivalent vaccine. I'm not getting this year's vaccine because I think I have high frequencies of T cells. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I would like the academic immunologists in concert with CDC epidemiologists to answer those questions.
And also, many people say, all right, I understand your arguments, but what's the downside for getting a different COVID booster every year? Is there any?
Right. And actually, that's one thing that kind of bothers me a lot is that when people say, well, there's no downside. First of all, any time you take any medicine or any biological, there's a downside. If it has an upside, it'll have a downside. The downside may be rare. It may be very rare, but nonetheless, there's always a downside. And we're going to find out about this vaccine over time. It is a novel strategy. We certainly were surprised by myocarditis and pericarditis, and we'll see whether or not over time, when we're 5 years into this, 10 years into this, 15 years into this, whether there's any evidence of residual myocardial disease. Because the reason you have myocarditis is you're making an immune response to your own heart muscle. I mean, it appears to be generally transient and short-lived, but there's invariably a spectrum of disease, and we'll find out about that over time. And I think it's perfectly reasonable to take those risks if the benefits are clear. But when the benefits aren't clear, then it's not so reasonable to take risk, even a rare risk.